We go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I'm your host, Reckless Rex Ruger. That's the Alexis Arguello motherfucking puppet.
And I'm your other host, Frank Benjies, and we're back with another one.
With one of our old friends of the show and an exciting young up-and-coming fighter. We'll get him in here and let him explain. What's up, MALIEK?
What's up?
There he is, man. There he is, MALIEK Mayhem Montgomery. Hey, listen, man. First of all, man, it's great to have you back on again, man. But one thing that's, you're not going to be at a great card coming up here, man. And Benji's, I don't even know if you know this, man. 3 of our guests are on there: Elijah Pierce, of course, MALIEK, and Gerald McClellan Jr.
Oh, I like
phenomenal card. Yeah.
Yes, card.
Man, that is a lit card. Everybody makes a big deal about all these other cards, man, but that is a phenomenal card. One thing I want to ask you, though, I noticed when I'm looking at BoxRec, man, this is your first fight since last June.
Yep.
Are you concerned at all about ring rust? How are you feeling?
No, that's literally the last thing been on my mind. I've been getting in great rounds, great sparring. I'm ready to get back in the ring, man. That's all I can think about is, once that opening bell start and getting back in there and working, because I just know, when I get in the ring, regardless of ring rust or anything, I know that switch flipping, it's on go.
Are you still Team Porter?
No, I'm back home in Macon, Georgia, training with my dad.
Okay. But you've got a lot of work. But you got a lot of work with the Porters, though.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
What a learning experience, though, right? First of all, man, I met Sean up at the Boxing Hall of Fame. He's one of the best guys. I swear to God, I tell this story to everybody. He was literally on his way at the Hall of Fame grounds to do his own podcast, and he got stopped, man, for people asking for autographs and pictures, and he literally stayed in that same goddamn spot for 2.5 hours, man, and signed and took pictures with everybody, man. A great guy.
Great guy, man.
Is it mentally different when you go into like a fight and you really are on like a big card, like a main stage? Like, does that weigh on you, or does it change like the way you go into a fight?
Me personally, I take the lowest stage fight, and I feel like it's the same as if I take everything the same seriousness as if it was a world title fight. But I do feel that in a sense, yeah, when you on a bigger card, that you tend to kind of dig deeper as far as, how you feel about how you should perform and things along that line.
What was the reason for the layoff, if you don't mind me asking? Just couldn't get fights?
Yeah, just different things. First of all, the separation from the Porters. But and yeah, on top of that, it's just getting matched back up and just getting back, in a sense of, getting the business side of boxing down pack rather,
Yeah. And I don't know how recently this happened, man, but in Macon, Georgia, did they just not attach the Montgomery brothers' name to a gym?
Yeah, the gym. Yeah,
now you know you're making it, MALIEK. Now you know you're making it.
The name of the gym after, the name of the gym after us. They're still doing waiting to do like the presentation. Cut the the ribbon award and all that.
Yeah.
Things of that such. But I'm focused on fighting. This Friday.
Right in Freedom Park, right?
Yes, sir.
The gym is? Yeah. So I gotta ask. Now you've got a young one, right? You've got a MALIEK Jr., correct?
Yes, sir. I got a junior.
And he's how old now?
He's 4. He'll be 5 in October.
And now, so since you became a father, I'm obviously a father. That's my son. Might I add, the only father-son boxing podcast in boxing media right now. A distinct honor. But how has being a parent changed your focus and your mentality in terms of you as a fighter?
As a fighter, for me, it motivates me when I train and when I fight, in the sense that it's no longer I feel like I don't have the option in certain situations to back down or put less of an effort forward, because I'm not just doing it for me anymore, and because I love the sport in the whole, and I do it because I love the sport so much. But now it's that extra, hey, I got to get this done for my son, for my family.
Yeah.
Does it make it easier to sort of like shy away from the partying and having a good time and this and that. Does it make it easier having a child to like get away from that and just favor your boy and what you got going on?
Absolutely, it does. As of right now, he's in and out of like right now they're doing summer school. So I mean, not summer school, but like the summer programs. But for the most part, even when I go to the gym, I'm taking my son with me to the gym. Me and my son go everywhere together.
Yeah. Now, I'm looking at the super featherweight rankings today while I'm at work, and I'm wondering, what the hell does a guy have to do to get ranked? 17-0, 16 knockouts. I never understand the politics of boxing. There are guys on the top 10 in all the alphabet organizations with crappier records than I mean, with losses, with not a lot of fights. How does one, for people that don't understand, and I don't know how well even you understand it though. I mean, it's got to be puzzling you as well. How does a guy go about getting ranked? What do you got to do?
Again, it's all about what they the old saying is who you know, not what you know, and and it's mainly getting the right profile, high profile fights, matchups to get you in the public eye. And I really feel like once you get that name, now everybody goes to calling your name. Everybody wants to see you fight. Now all of a sudden, you pop into the top 10, and that top 10 turns into the top 5, and now you're looking at title contingency and potentially fighting for a world title.
Do you feel like it's like the fight world is like a really crazy place? Because just like you saying, you got to get that high profile fight to get your name involved. But then the minute you lose one of them fights, now it's like nobody cares about you no more. What's the dynamic there in your mind as an up and coming fighter?
For me, it's just like I approach, life. You can't take anything for granted, and that goes for when we step in the ring and you do get those high profile fights. Just like you just said, you understand that at any moment, you can take an L or anything can happen, and now that automatically, even though again that doesn't change you as a fighter, but that automatically in the public eye bring down your price value to these big promoters. So with that being said, now they can offer you, the crazy bogus fights, and they don't have to give you, get you ranked in the top 5. They don't have to give you those title eliminator matches, and they basically stall you out until you just say, forget it.
Now you're at 130 pounds, right now. Do you plan on in the future any changes in weight divisions, or do you feel like this is going to be home for a while?
Absolutely. The goal for me is to win a world title at 130. And go from there as far as to see if I want to unify the feel as far as how I feel, if I want to unify at 130 or move to 35, because again, the weight class, the dynamics as far as the champions are going are switching, and right now, 40 for the 140 weight class picking up steam. 135 is one of the hottest weight class right now. 30 is still high right now. They got some nice champions at 126 that are soon moving up to 130. And also it's a lot of mix as far as up and down goes. And really once you get to that world title status, it's all about what match is gonna bring in the most fans, gonna bring in the most money for these networks, and just trying to navigate it once you get there.
When you're doing your thing and you're 17-0 with 16 knockouts, and I think we might have touched on this in the first interview, but people start to pigeonhole you as like a knockout artist, and I know a lot of guys don't really kind of like that thought of themselves. But I just wonder, in your mind, when we're talking about weight movement, do you ever question the fact that, like, do you ever wonder? I guess I'll put it this way: do you ever wonder if your power is going to continue to translate at the weight move up, or are you going to work on like stylistically, like just doing what you need to?
I'm ultimately, nobody just wants to just gain weight to go up to another weight. Everybody, wants to build as far as building up on their skills and abilities. Also, because you got to approach these different weight classes differently. Because the same shots you could take in one weight class, you might not be able to take in the next weight class. And same things hold as far as your power go. Your power might not hold up in the next weight class. I feel like, because of my size, I'm not a small 130 pounder as he is. So, and I literally at this point, I literally spar guys. I always spar guys 20, 30 pounds heavier than me because guys my weight can't hang with me when it comes to sparring.
Yeah.
And so I think it'll translate over. But as far as people labeling, you know, I think people don't like that label as like a knockout artist because it kind of puts extra pressure on them to shoot for the knockout every single time. And as far as I go, that's my goal every single time. We don't get paid overtime. People love knockouts. I'm aiming for knockout.
Yeah. Now you brought up that there is some great champions here. I guess this is probably the part of the show where we maybe stir the pot and start a little bit of trouble here. Maybe throw out a couple of names here though, and just in your division and kind of get your assessment on them. Now the WBO champion currently is Navarrete. That's an intriguing fight.
I would love that fight with Navarrete.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was fighting at 126, that was a match that you know I was looking forward to down the line, being able to call for that fight, and that's because you know he has a very fan friendly style as far as how he comes forward. He's awkward. He was a lot bigger than a lot of the guys that he was beating. He's not bigger than me, and I just felt like that would be a great fight for me, especially a great fight that will put me to be one of those coming out fights to where people will see how I'm able to fight him, how I'm able to beat him, and really recognize who I am.
There's the soundbite we were looking for. Face him and beat him. You got to love the comments. Now, in the WBC, we got, now, I don't know if you're friends or your relationship with any of these guys, or, you know, or how much trouble we really want to stir up, but your thoughts on the WBC champion, O'Shaquie Foster.
I don't know him personally. I actually we came through the amateur system. He came through the amateur system a little ahead of me. He's been pro a lot longer. He's a great fighter. Physically, he's very physically gifted, and he's good, very knowledgeable in the ring. But I ultimately think my style when it comes to fighting, especially in his weight class, is just unmatched. And I don't think I don't think those guys will be able to hang with me.
Do you think back to Navarrete for a minute, because O'Shaquie's more of a slick fighter, and I feel like you'd probably just overpower him. I'm not gonna lie, but back to Navarrete for a minute, because he does kind of got a little bit of that, you know, a little bit of durability and ability to make, you know what I mean, put pressure on guys. I'm just thinking like his off like footing work. I feel like a guy like you would handle him, you know what I mean, pretty easily. What you think about that?
I think so too.
Yeah.
And that's why I would love that matchup, because again, you know, a lot of the guys, I felt like a lot of the guys that he matched up against let the namesake get to them before they even got in the ring with them. And a lot of them let the pressure of that, you know, the build up for the fight itself kind of wear them down in the sense to where they were off their game when they fought. And, you know, that's not taking anything away from him. And he was able to put on great performances and stop a lot of really good fighters. But I just don't think, you know, stylistically wise, I just think, you know, he's the perfect fighter for me to be, you know, for me to really put my skills on display.
Now, a couple other guys holding belts currently. WBO, another guy holding a WBO belt, Oscar Valdez and Lamont Roach. Your thoughts on both of those guys, also both holding belts at your weight division?
Oscar Valdez is another guy, you know, I watched coming up. Through the, you know, the later amateur ranks. I would love a fight with that. I feel like he's a good fighter. He has good punching power and all, you know, but I just feel like, you know, his boxing IQ isn't to the point to where I think out of all the champions, minus him and Lamont, I think that's another fight that I would love to have.
And a guy we're going to have on Thursday doesn't hold a belt right now, Albert Prince Bell.
Oh yeah, that's my guy. That's my guy from Toledo.
He's going to be coming on Thursday. A guy that doesn't hold the belt, man, but a guy that's undefeated though at your weight class though.
Yeah. Look, Albert is another one of them that's one, you know, in the same boat as me as far as being undefeated, and he's had a couple high profile fights.
Yeah,
and they will not give him a title shot.
I know, 26-0. What the hell's the guy? What's the guy got to do? 26-0. The WBC has him ranked number 1.
Because his boxing ability and his height, you know, a lot of guys they don't want those type of problems. They don't want to have to go against that. So if they find ways to avoid it. You know, they can say he's not big enough. You know, they can say his name isn't big enough. They can say all kinds of things to avoid from making those matches and giving these guys giving us these title shots.
Just before we get away from all this like this talk, I know we was talking about 126 and 130 and guys moving up and moving weights around. A guy I love to shout out, and my pops knows this, but we're a big fan of Shushu Carrington. A
We
guy
love him.
around. Is that a fight you ever foresee in your future?
Yeah, I message Shushu every now and then, you know, when congratulating him on his matches. And
love
I
him.
think I might have told him one time, like, hey, yeah, like you need to get one of them titles so that I can fight you with one of them titles. Like, yeah, we got to run it back.
Well, him and Elijah Pierce have both come on this show and promised us big years in 2025. You know, and they seem to be going all over the place and making that claim. You know, obviously he's going to be on this card with you. Love Elijah, man. He had no shortage of words when he was on here a couple weeks ago, calling out big names, including I guess what would be the crown jewel at his weight, the Japanese guy there. I always fuck up his name. Come on, Benji's help. Inoue. I always call him Inoue and fuck it up, I feel like. But yeah, Inoue, you know, I mean, no disrespect to the Japanese people, you know, but he's obviously a big crowd jewel. But you talk about moving up to 135, and you touched on this earlier. A lot of big fights there. I mean, you know, we obviously just saw the Kingpin last week, Tank Davis. You know, if you were to play matchmaker and you went up to 135, who do you like up there?
I think you'd be a problem for Tank Davis. I'm not gonna lie.
I think so too. I think so too. My actually guy was in their camp giving him some rounds. Me and my younger brother when he was getting ready for the Cruz fight.
Yeah. I know Elijah Pierce gave him some work, man, because the video leaked out on YouTube, man, and now it's all over the place, man. And there's certainly no love lost between those guys either.
Yeah, them boys, all that run deep. But at 35, because I'm a believer. I like challenges, man. I would love like a fight with probably Cruz.
Yeah. He seems to be an avoided guy too.
Probably, and that's why because I really feel like, you know, people, because again he's a pressure puncher. He comes forward. I just feel like that will again be one of those matches that I just feel like would just really, you know, solidify me in the game as far as being that guy.
Now, when you take a year off and haven't had a fight in a year, is the preparation the same? You know, is it just business as usual? Do you go into camp and just does the training intensify? Do you tweak or change any things when you've had this much time out of the ring?
We really been putting emphasis on sparring. Sparring and, you know, strength and conditioning as far as trying to make sure when we come back, we're not just coming back, you know, we coming back with a fire and we coming back stronger and better than ever.
Now, I got to ask, man, if you wanted to fight the round of your life or you needed that one song to really motivate you, what's Malik Montgomery's go-to music? And I'm not going to lie, man, and we're going to call out Shushu here again, man. He said that he still goes back to the Get Rich or Die Trying 50 Cent era. There you have it, man.
Yeah. That's funny that you said that because I was just listening to Mini Men this morning.
Got the greatest run in hip hop history of all time.
Yeah.
I guess it still pumps people up. It's still pumping up Shoe York.
Yeah. It would probably be Tech 9 Worldwide Choppers.
Okay. Yeah, I like it, man. So the fight June 28th, Cesar Juarez. Other than him getting an ass whooping, what else do we know about this guy?
We don't know much as far as he's a veteran. He's been in there with some big names. He's able to take a shot. He can give it. He's a really tough vet, and I think this was a good match. We actually had a couple other guys lined up. Guys pulled out last second, and he was the one who said, "Yeah, I'll do it." So we commend him for being having the guts to get in the ring. But ultimately, this gonna be a show. We're gonna put on a show, and we try and put them out.
Yeah. Now, plans and goals. Obviously, I just alluded to the fact that Elijah Pierce and other guys have come on here. Shushu have said 2025 is going to be a big year. The timeline for you, when would you like to be on that world title stage? I feel like you're ready now, man. But like, how many fights do you think you are away from fighting for a world title?
Realistically, because I'm a realist, maybe two to three matches. And,
okay.
I plan on being in the mix as far as fighting for world title.
Yeah.
Does it bother you when you like try to put like a timestamp on yourself and say it's going to be 2 to 3 fights, and then we talk about guys like he was talking about Albert Prince, that when they put themselves in position and then they don't get awarded the opportunity, is that something that like weighs on you like mentally?
It did before. But part of me taking, me having this year off is coming to that realization that, all we can do at this point as fighters is in certain instances like that, leave that business side as far as to, our advisors, managers to help make those opportunities happen, and us just be ready to put in the work day in and day in the gym. And when we do get that opportunity to be able to step up and take full advantage of it.
Yeah. Now your brothers, also fight. How are their careers going in comparison to yours? How much progress are they making? As they move forward in their own careers.
My older brother doesn't box anymore, and my younger brother just is coming off a hand injury, but he'll be back in the gym next month.
Okay. And so do you guys in the ring, in preparation for your fights, do you guys go at it? Are you around the same size?
All of us are like 2 weight classes. My younger brother fights at 122 and my older brother fights at 147.
Okay.
But again, like I said, I get plenty of sparring as far as with the both of them when it's needed, and throughout camp when we just want to mix it up or we feel like our sparring partner is not pushing us hard enough.
Was it always like that? Was it always competitive between you and your brothers growing up, with athletics?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Now you played other sports in school, though, correct? Like you were pretty, you were pretty talented. I was reading some articles on you. You ran track.
I ran cross country. I wrestled, everything.
Wrestling. There we go. Wrestling.
Oh yeah, I love wrestling. Yeah, I love wrestling.
Now, do you think when you do stuff like that, when you're just athletic in nature, that you feel like just that innate ability to be athletic and to pick things up quickly? Do you feel like that's a huge advantage, inside the boxing ring?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like and I feel like when boxing, you need a little bit of everything as far as to be, to call yourself a complete fighter and to just compete at the highest levels. And yeah, I feel like with me already having been very athletic and having an athletic background, that just is a plus.
I asked that because I know that Terrence Crawford was a big wrestler back in the day, and people always sleep on how strong he is. People didn't give him much credit going into the Spence fight. He's smaller, he's not as strong or whatever. But then you get in there and you find out Bud is a strong dude. Extremely strong, and I think some of that wrestling background and guys not being able to push him around in there pays dividends.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, you basically took the question out of my mouth, because that's what I was going to say. Is that you feel like the wrestling background
has to
the process?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely, especially when it comes to that infighting and those engages, where a guy wants to hold and punch and all the other things.
Now, because you had the year layoff, now you're fighting here at the end of this month. How active would you like to be? Like, when would you prefer to be back in the ring? How many more times this year?
Easily, if it was up to me, I'll be back in the ring by the end of August.
Okay.
By the end, it's early September at the latest, and probably again in November.
Staying busy.
Yeah, so you're looking to get busy for the rest of the year and then walk.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to get at least 2 to 3 fights in before the year ends.
Yeah. I think you need to do that too, man, because when you're sitting there at 17-0 with 16 knockouts, you're right on the precipice, I think, of cracking those rankings, man. Like, this is the time right now, I really feel that for you, man. You got an exciting career in front of you. I do, to touch on a point that Benji's made earlier, though, about the knockout artist thing, though. and I think we might have touched on this in the first interview, though. Obviously, one big black eye that still exists in the boxing world is we see some shitty scores by these judges turned in, and we've been critical of this on the show plenty of times. So this is nothing new for our audience. But does that put added pressure on you to seek the knockout, knowing full well that you could put in a killer performance, and we've seen guys do it and still come up short?
Again, like I said, when I fight, I feel that's my focus. My focus is to stop, man. We don't get paid overtime. And for me, like, that's the easiest way to avoid, having bogus decisions, because I dealt with that a lot in the amateurs. In the amateurs,
Yeah.
we completely overwhelmed and beat our man, and decision come back and, oh, you lost by a point, or it wasn't even close, and it's just crazy, ridiculous decisions. And yes, it's kind of added, to put that pressure on you to get the knockouts. But I feel like if you just focus on that, you end up making a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
And as far as your boxing style, how you would usually approach certain situations while you're in the ring. And I just feel like, it's just best to just keep a level mind, keep a level focus on, just handling business at hand when you get in the ring.
Do you feel like that a lot of times, and we were talking about this one the other night, the Gary Antoine Russell fight, he just fought Pollo, and there was a bogus card in that fight, 118, 110, that wasn't realistic at all for what the fight was. Do you feel like a lot of times it has a lot to do with the fact that guys, they're trying to push a certain agenda and make guys be somebody that they're not necessarily?
I think so. I still get pressured at times, to act a certain way and this and that, to get fights and different things along that way. But ultimately, like I said, it's up to the individual, the fighter.
Yeah. Now, as a fan, you obviously you do this professionally in the ring, but who is somebody that Maliek Montgomery, has to make sure that he sits down and watches fight as a fan? Like who's out there doing it right now that you're a fan of, where when they fight, you say, I'm tuning in? Obviously, I know at the end of the day, these are all your peers, and at the end of the day, they could potentially be, prospective opponents. But you still have to admire, guys doing the same thing as you.
It would probably have to be Terrence Crawford.
Yeah.
It'd probably be Terrence.
Do you think realistically we ever see a Terrence Crawford Canelo Alvarez fight?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, one of my favorite guys is David Benavidez, and that's another one that fight I wish would happen.
Boxing, at one point in time, they were surprising me with some of these matchups that were finally being made.
Yeah.
And then, but in the same sense, they'll try to build up a fight for 5 years.
Yeah. So June 28th, I want to make sure that I get this right. If people are there in person, or they're in the Atlanta, Georgia area, the OTE Arena.
Yes, sir.
This Friday, June 28th, and also it will be on DAZN.
Yep.
And it is a killer card, man. Some guys that we've had on the show, Benji's, that we really love, man. Gerald McClellan Jr., of course, our man here, Maliek. Elijah Pierce, man. The Wolf, the hunt continues, man, for him, man. Exciting card.
Big shout out to ATL, man, right? Free Gunna, Free Thugger.
Yeah.
Because Free Gunna is the rat. Free Thugger.
See, I don't know what the hell he's even talking about. This has got to be something that goes over an old guy like me's head right here, man. But as long as you guys are speaking the same language, hey, who am I to say anything, But hey, listen, man. As always, man, you're a friend of the show, man. We love having you on. We love watching your career, man. Stay in touch, man. Let's chop it up again sometime, after this fight, man. And we'll certainly do this again. Stay in touch as always, man. And we wish you tons of luck, man. We'll be tuning in, man, for sure.
All right, man. Appreciate you guys having me on here again.
Yeah, we're huge fans, Maliek, man. We're in your corner, man. And best of luck, man. Stay safe, man. And, come out the other side, man. More importantly, man, put this guy down for the count, man, for us.
Sir.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, buddy. Thank you again, man. All right. Later, my friend. That's one to watch right there, folks. That is Maliek Mayhem Montgomery, man. Friend of the show, man. We love him. Hate to call him a knockout artist because, as you alluded to, man, that puts a lot of pressure on a dude, man.
Another beautiful interview from Off the Couch Boxing, folks. I just toot our own horn for a minute. We tooted Montgomery's horn.
Yeah.
Another wonderful interview from the boys at Off the Couch Boxing. We bring y'all the best content.
We just lost your voice completely. I'm not hearing your voice at all. Say what you just said again.
I'm back.
Okay, there you are.
I said, we do what we do and provide y'all with the best content that we can do, and y'all need to do what y'all do and tap in and give us love.
Yeah, like and follow us on Facebook, man. Shout us out, man. Throw out some suggestions of people you'd like to see, people that we've had on that you'd like to see us have on again. Throw us out some suggestions, some comments, some opinions, man. We'll accept just about anybody's friend request on Facebook. That's Off the Couch Boxing on Facebook. Of course, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on this channel, man. These are the best boxing conversations. This is where everybody in the fight game comes to just kick it, man. We chop it up like nobody else.
Dude, at this point, I'm saying comment on there and tell me how ugly I am.
And of course, man, as much as we pride ourselves on loving having legends on here, man, what really gets me the most excited is giving a platform to these guys that are on the come up, like the Maliek Montgomerys, like the Shushu Carringtons, like the Tommy Hydes, like the Anthony Bizarros. The list goes on, like the Avery Martin Duvals, all these guys that we've had on, in the past, man, who we really love to have. And love to see their careers flourish and watch them grow and come on our show and share the experience with us, man. You never know, man. You're watching these guys develop, man. These guys are the future of boxing. You are looking at probably a guy who's going to, be in that Floyd Mayweather-esque fucking league right there. We just talked to a guy who's going to be in that league.
And like you said before, man, I want to shout out again, Elijah Pierce and Gerald McClellan Jr. going to be on the same card as Maliek Montgomery coming up. What is it now?
June 28th, this coming up Friday, man. This coming up Friday night. If you're in the Atlanta, Georgia area, I would imagine tickets are still available. But from what I read on the boys' post here, man, they are going fast. That'll be at the OTE Arena. We're not from Georgia. We're in upstate New York, so we have no idea where the fuck that is. But people that are watching this that are in that area, man, OTE Arena, June 28th, Friday night. You can also peep it on DAZN.
Yep.
So certainly tap in because that is a card stacked with talent, man. And we know of which we speak. We've had these guys on. Gerald McClellan Jr. Is going to be on that card. Of course, we all remember how amazing his father was, and believe me, he is by every definition a chip off the old block, man. Fights like the old man. Tons of talent, man. Elijah Pierce. His episode is up on our channel, man. Love him, man. Lots of confidence, man. Lots of talent, man. And, of course, our boy Maliek Mayhem Montgomery, man. It's going to be an action-packed night, man. Tune in. If you're a real boxing fan, see, these are the cards that the real boxing fans, not y'all casuals out there turning in for the big Tank fights or the big Ryan Garcia fights. These are the ones where you're going to see the real up-and-coming talent, the guys that are really going to be the cream of the crop.
Absolutely. You hit the nail right on the head with that one.
Yeah. These are the up-and-coming guys. Maliek Montgomery is a guy that hasn't cracked any of the alphabet organizations yet, and it's criminal because there are guys in the top 15. I go on the boxing rankings website all the time. Guys that are in the top 15 with 2, 3 even losses that the alphabet organizations recognize. But yet a guy like Maliek Montgomery, and I know he was alluding to talent that you faced in strength of the resume or whatever, but come on, man, 17-0 with 16 knockouts, man. Let's get this guy in the super featherweight rankings for fuck's sake.
Come on, man. We all know when you're on the come up and you got 15 to 17 fights, you fought a lot of guys to help the resume. We all know that. If you're a true boxing fan, you know that. Yeah.
But these are still guys that are climbing through those ropes, man, that he's dispensing of. He's beating them, and he's beating them decisively, man. I mean, he's knocked out all of them but one. So, and I don't expect Friday night to turn out any differently. And I love the fact that he, like Shushu Carrington, like Elijah Pierce, like these young boxers on there, is confident, man. You can't have any shortage of that, man. He already says he likes his chances against Navarrete. Hell, he likes his chances at moving up to 135 and dealing with Tank. And I like his chances.
I think he would have Tank would have a problem with him.
He's a big super featherweight, man. He'd be a problem for a lot of dudes, man. So, I mean, keep an eye out, man, and check these guys out and support them, man. These are our future stars, man. You know what I mean? Like, these are the guys that are out there grinding, not the Devin Haney's who get their ass beat and then decide that they're going to take a year off while Ryan Garcia is suspended and do this and that and take one fight a year. These guys are grinding their way to the top, man. These are the guys we should really have our eyes on. Not to disparage any of our top stars in the sport that we love, man, but I mean, come on, man. These are the guys that are out there grinding, who are really grinding to become the face of boxing.
And with that being said, I'll say it again. Like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Find us on Facebook. We all over there talking. We want to hear y'all opinions. We love to hear them. And with that being said, man, shout out Gary Busey, because I can go 15 seconds with anything.
Yes, and very excited, man. Coming up, man. I don't know when it'll air at the time of this episode. It is June 23rd, man. But in a couple days, we will be having Albert Prince Bell on, another guy, another exciting undefeated fighter, 26-0, ranked, I believe, #1 by the WBC. Also another super featherweight. Certainly Malik Montgomery recognized the name, man, and for well he should, man. It is another guy making a lot of noise in the super featherweight division. Stay tuned for that. Lots of killer episodes coming up. Lots of killer content already out there in the archives, man. Go back and check it out. As I've always said, it is a treasure trove of amazing content that you don't get anywhere else, man. So stay tapped in. And remember, if you want to be a champion, you got to roll with the champs.